June 3rd, 2017. Augusta, Georgia. An unmarked sedan idles at the curb. The air is thick, humid. Georgia in full summer. Inside a beige duplex, reality Leigh Winner, age 25, is scraping old yoga chalk from her palms when the doorbell rings. Outside, 3 FBI agents adjust their jackets. They look like insurance salesmen, except for the nervous energy buzzing off them. Winner answers, barefoot, hair pulled back, eyes steady. She's supposed to be invisible, a contractor, not a spy. Her living room smells faintly of incense and cat litter. But right now, she is the most dangerous person in the United States. The FBI isn't here for overdue library books. They're after a single 5-page document ripped from the heart of the NSA's classified vault. Not a mass dump, one file, 5 pages. But those 5 pages threaten to upend the entire story of the 2016 U.S. election. The agents step inside, Winner's hands tense at her sides. On the kitchen counter, her phone buzzes. Telemarketer, not salvation. The lead agent's voice is low. "We have a warrant to search the premises." His partner's eyes flick to a stack of unopened mail. On a hard drive, somewhere between yoga playlists and CrossFit schedules, is the evidence. The digital fingerprints of the most sophisticated insider breach since Snowden. Step back. 3 weeks earlier, the National Security Agency produces a top-secret report. May 5th, 2017. Printed, stamped, locked behind layers of security at NSA, Georgia. Its contents? Russian military intelligence. GR Unit 74455, accused of launching cyber attacks on a U.S. voting software supplier and spearphishing over 100 local election officials. The attacks failed, but the report reveals U.S. detection timelines, methods, and blind spots. Information any foreign adversary would pay millions for. Information now sitting in a file folder with yellow tracking dots and suspicious creases. The absurdity? Winner isn't some shadowy hacker or seasoned mole. She's a CrossFit instructor, Air Force veteran, fluent in Persian and Pashto, with a meme-filled Instagram and a cat named Mina. Her weapon of choice, a government printer, and her own clearance badge. The Intercept. The journalists who receive her leak don't even know her name until they send her document, unredacted and full of printer dots, right back to the NSA for verification. How does a single contractor outmaneuver the world's most powerful intelligence agency with nothing but a printer, a Gmail account, and one reckless act? And why does the government respond with the harshest prison sentence ever handed to a whistleblower in American history? December 4th, 1991. Finksburg, Maryland. Reality Leigh Winner arrives in the world with a name only a government employee could love. She grows up stubborn, brainy, and allergic to anything ordinary. By 18, she's fluent in Persian, Dari, and Pashto. Not exactly high school Spanish club material. Her bedroom wall is a mosaic of CrossFit medals, Air Force recruitment posters, and a single photo of a rescue cat named Mina. By 2010, Winner stands barely 5 feet tall, hair the color of straw, shoulders squared with military precision. She enlists in the U.S. Air Force, ships out for language school, and by the time most people are still figuring out how to do their own taxes, she's decoding intercepted chatter for the 94th Intelligence Squadron at Fort Meade. Her job is to listen, translate, and sometimes decide who lives or dies. She earns an Air Force Commendation Medal. Her name inked onto citations for helping capture or kill over 1,000 enemy combatants. Most people would brag. Winner just heads to the gym for another round of deadlifts. 6 years in, she's restless. The world outside classified walls looks blurry. Civilian life calls, sort of. In early 2017, she joins Pluribus International Corporation, a contractor with a nondescript logo and a contract with the NSA. Her new workplace is a windowless bunker in Augusta, Georgia, where the sun is a rumor and the coffee tastes like secrets. Winner's job: language analysis for the NSA's Georgia facility, trawling foreign communications for threats nobody else can spot. Top secret clearance in one pocket, badge in the other, yoga mat slung over her shoulder. At first, it's just work. Winner processes intelligence, reviews reports, translates dry missives about who's hacking whom this week. Her phone is full of cat videos and anti-Trump memes, but her government laptop is locked tighter than a Vegas vault. The only thing that leaks is the air conditioning. Fridays are the worst. Every week, another news alert, another leak splashing across the headlines. At the NSA, leaks are like cockroaches. One appears, and suddenly, everyone's running for cover. May 5th, 2017, the NSA drafts a 5-page report. Top secret. The subject line reads like the opening crawl of a bad cyber thriller. Russian military hackers targeting a U.S. voting software supplier, phishing emails sent to over 100 election officials. The attack happened right before the 2016 presidential election. The report claims the hack failed, but it contains a timeline of how quickly the NSA detected it. To a foreign adversary, that's gold. U.S. capabilities laid bare. Winner reads it twice. The language is clinical, precise, and utterly explosive. Most people would close the file, maybe grumble about politics over lunch. Winner sits at her desk, hands hovering over the keyboard. "I knew it was secret," she says later, "but I had pledged service to the American people." And at that point in time, it felt like they were being led astray. Her jaw tightens. She stares at the clock. It's 2:37 p.m. Here's where technical skill meets opportunity. Winner uses unauthorized software to search the classified system, bypassing the usual query tools. She finds the May 5th report, flags it, and prints a copy. The printer hums, yellow tracking dots, embedding a digital fingerprint invisible to the naked eye. She folds the pages, slipping them into her pants. The paper creases, physical evidence that will betray her later. Nobody stops her walking out of the secure facility. Badge swipe, door click, sunlight for the first time all day. In her car, she breathes shallow, pulse hammering against the steering wheel. That night, she scans the document, opens her personal email, and sends it to the Intercept's general newsroom address. No subject line, no journalist named. Just 5 pages, attached and launched into the digital void. She doesn't know it, but the dots on that page are already mapping her route to disaster. What happens when the world's most secretive agency gets outsmarted by a CrossFit fanatic with a rescue cat and nothing left to lose? And what makes a contractor risk everything for a country that's barely paying attention? May 9th, 2017, NSA, Georgia. The fluorescent lights hum. Reality Winner scans the classified system, eyes darting across folders labeled in ominous government shorthand. She's searching for a keyword, fingers tense on the keyboard. Unauthorized software blinks alive on her terminal, a move that would make most analysts break into a sweat. Not Winner. She's fluent in 3 languages, but right now her real superpower is knowing exactly what the NSA tracks and more important, what they don't. She finds the report. 5 pages. Top secret //SI//no-foreign. The title alone could give a counterintelligence agent an ulcer. Russian grew cyber operations targeting US. Voting software and spearphishing local election officials. The attacks failed, but the document lays bare American detection timelines. Prime intelligence for any adversary with a Twitter account and a grudge. Winner hovers over the print command. Most people would call it a day, close the window, and head down to the cafeteria for dried chicken. She clicks print. The machine whirs, spitting out sheets in government standard font, each one encoded with microscopic yellow dots. The printer's signature, invisible unless you know where to look. She folds the document twice. The creases leave a roadmap for future forensics. Into her boot it goes, out of the secure facility, badge swiped, heartbeat steady. In the parking lot, she exhales. Augusta's air feels thicker than ever, heavy with invisible consequences. Her hands won't stop shaking. At home, Winner opens her laptop. No Tor browser, no burner phone, no elaborate spycraft. Just a Gmail tab and the Intercept's general newsroom address. She attaches the scans, writes no cover letter, and hits send. The entire operation takes 23 minutes. The cost? 1 document. The potential fallout? Nation-scale chaos. How long until someone notices? And will anyone believe a contractor could outmaneuver the world's most paranoid agency? For 3 weeks, nothing. The report sits in the Intercept's inbox, competing with 1,000 press releases and half a dozen invitations to off-the-record happy hours. Winner goes back to work. The NSA's Friday leak deadlines roll by, each one a reminder that information has a half-life and secrets rot faster in election season. She jokes with colleagues about the hassle of cleaning up after leakers. No one suspects the smallest person in the room. May 30th, 2017. New York City. The Intercept's editorial team decides to verify the document. Instead of calling their source, they fax an unredacted copy, yellow dots, creases, and all directly to the NSA's Public Affairs Office. Somewhere in Fort Meade, an analyst squints at the printed sheet and sees the invisible, a timestamp, a printer serial number, and folds that scream, hand carried. The Intercept's best journalistic asset just became a breadcrumb trail. NSA internal audit mode. Within hours, the agency queries access logs for the May 5th report. 6 users, all on site at Augusta. Only 1 terminal ran unauthorized software that day. Only 1 user searched for the Intercept's domain using a personal email. Winner's name flashes on the audit report, circled in digital red. Parallel cut, FBI Field Office, Atlanta. Agents receive the NSA alert. They draft a search warrant for Winner's home, targeting every device, every scrap of paper. The warrant lists willful retention and transmission of national defense information. Maximum penalty, 10 years in federal prison. The irony? For a leak about failed Russian hacking, it's the printer that does her in, not the GRU, not a rival superpower, a $400 Xerox. June 3rd, 2017. Augusta. Winner is at home, yoga mat rolled up, cat purring on the windowsill. 3 FBI agents knock on her door. She opens it, barefoot, hair tied back, face unreadable. "We have a few questions about a security matter," one says, voice rehearsed but eyes glancing at a notepad. Winner nods. They step inside. In the living room, Winner sits cross-legged. Agents lay out their evidence. The document, The email logs, the printer dots. Winner's hands fidget with the edge of her shirt. Did you print this? She hesitates. I don't think so. The agent slides the unredacted report closer. We have your computer logs. The print job matches your clearance. A long pause. Okay, Winner says. Maybe I did. She's handcuffed gently, as if they're afraid she'll evaporate. On the way to Lincoln County Jail, the car is silent except for the distant hum of air conditioning and the sound of Winner's breathing. Short, controlled, not quite panicked. At booking, she gives her name. The guard blinks twice, probably wondering if it's real. June 5th, the Department of Justice announces Winner's arrest. The news cycle explodes. Cable news panels argue whether she's a traitor or a hero. Twitter runs polls. Facebook groups sprout overnight. The word espionage trends for the first time since the Cold War. For a moment, every American with a smartphone learns the term printer tracking dots. Cybersecurity consultants become minor celebrities. The Intercept publishes the story, the same one that started this domino run, complete with the exact file that traced back to Winner in the first place. But can prosecutors prove she intended to harm national security? And why did The Intercept, a publication built on protecting sources, become her undoing? Bail hearings follow. Winner's attorney, Titus Nichols, stands before Judge R. Stanbaker pleads her case. She will be entering a plea of not guilty, allowing a jury of her peers. Prosecutors counter with flight risk claims. They cite her Air Force deployments, Greece, the UAE. The judge reads the classified charge, willful retention and transmission of national defense information. Bail is denied. Twice. Winner stares straight ahead, jaw tight. Her parents in the gallery look smaller than she remembers. Legal filings mount. Winner's defense is barred from discussing classified media reports. The government files a sentencing memo. Her betrayal put at risk sources and methods of intelligence gathering, thereby offering advantage to our adversaries. The media swarms Lincoln County Jail. Someone starts selling t-shirts with "Reality Winner for President" in Comic Sans. Even her rescue cat, Mina, gets a fan account. Parallel cut. NSA conference room. Officials brief the National Association of Secretaries of State on the leak. The real panic isn't about the content. The failed hack attempt is old news. It's about how quickly a contractor, not even a direct federal employee, could pierce the perimeter. Richard Clark, former White House counter-terror chief, puts it bluntly. Contractors make up an increasingly large segment of the intelligence community. Translation: anyone with a badge and a brain is now a risk factor. Inside jail, Winner spends 23 hours a day in isolation. Her hands develop small calluses from gripping the bunk frame. She writes letters to her mother, describing the smell of bleach and the sound of distant doors slamming shut. She misses CrossFit, her cat, the freedom to open a window. The government withholds some discovery, arguing national security. Winner's only visitors are her attorney and, once, a journalist scribbling notes on a legal pad. July 2017. The Intercept faces a backlash. Journalists call their handling malpractice. Security experts post tutorials on how not to burn your sources. Glenn Greenwald, the co-founder, clarifies. Winner sent the document to a generic inbox, not a specific reporter. The lesson? If you want to leak classified info, try not to use the same tools you use to order pizza. But how will the case end? With a trial that exposes more secrets, or a plea deal that buries the details for good? And is Reality Winner the last contractor to outsmart the NSA? or just the first to get caught? June 3rd, 2017, 3:23 p.m., Augusta, Georgia. Reality Winner stands barefoot on the tile, the air humming with Georgia heat. Her phone vibrates with a calendar alert. Just another CrossFit reminder. She wipes chalk off her hands, hears a soft thud outside. Through the window, a sedan idles, engine ticking. 2 men and a woman step out, jackets too heavy for the weather. FBI, but you wouldn't know it from their faces. They look like insurance adjusters, not the end of the line. Winner opens the door, heartbeat stuttering. Are you reality Leigh Winner? The woman's voice is calm, practiced. Winner nods, jaw tight. Her pulse hammers in her ears. One agent flashes a badge. We have a warrant. Can we come in? Most people would ask for a lawyer. Winner just steps aside and lets them pass. She knows what this means. She's been expecting it since The Intercept sent the document for verification. Inside, the agents fan out, one to the living room, one to the kitchen, the last hovering in the hallway, eyes scanning for electronics, a laptop, an iPhone, a yoga mat rolled tight in the corner. We just want to talk, the lead agent says. Do you know why we're here? Winner's hands tremble on her jeans. She shakes her head, but her voice is steady. I don't know. Is this about work? Her eyes flicker to the window, calculating the distance to the fence. But there's nowhere to run. The interrogation unfolds in slow motion. Every word is measured, every gesture recorded. Did you print a classified document on May 9th? The agent asks, sliding a single page across the table. The paper is creased, yellow dots barely visible under the kitchen light. Printer forensics, the NSA's invisible signature. Winner blinks, recognizes her own fold. She feels the world narrowing to a pinpoint. Not that I remember, she says, but her voice cracks on the last word. The agent leans in. We know only 6 people accessed this file. Only 1 contacted the Intercept's domain from a personal email. He lets the silence hang. Winner's hands clench in her lap, knuckles white. The kitchen clock ticks, sweat beads on her temples. She tries to keep her face blank, but her eyes dart to the laptop, the last link to her old life. Another agent lifts it gently, bagging it. You've been very cooperative, he says, but his tone is final. We're placing you under arrest. Outside, neighbors watch through half-closed blinds as Winner is led to the unmarked car. No sirens, no spectacle. She's barefoot, hands cuffed behind her back, nails bitten to the quick. The driveway radiates heat. Her face is stone. The irony, she risked everything to expose a foreign attack on American democracy, only to be caught by the most American thing imaginable, printer dots and an audit trail. In the back seat, Winner stares at her knees. The agent asks, "Why did you do it?" She meets his eyes. I thought people deserved to know. For a moment, the car is silent except for the hum of the engine and the faint buzz of summer cicadas. That's the confession. No grand speech, no dramatic final stand. Just the truth, small and sharp. 4:10 p.m., Lincoln County Jail. The door slams shut behind her. The air is colder here, fluorescent and stale. Winner's hands are still shaking as she's processed, fingerprinted, photographed, stripped of shoelaces. Her yoga habit, her languages, her medal, all meaningless now. A uniform with her name in block letters. In the holding cell, she sits on a metal bench, knees tucked to her chest. She tries to steady her breath, but panic flickers behind her eyes. That same hour, at the NSA's Augusta facility, auditors finish reviewing the logs. 6 suspects narrowed to 1. The forensic dots on the leaked PDF confirm it. Printer, date, time, even the model. The system designed to hunt foreign spies just caught an insider. Let that sink in. A 5-page report, a handful of yellow dots, and a single print job. Not a mass exfiltration, not a digital heist. Just one person, one document, one decision. At 5:03 p.m., a DOJ press release hits the wires. Contractor charged with removing classified material. Newsrooms light up. Phones ring. Reporters scramble. But the real story isn't the leak. It's how fast the system closes in. 24 days between printing and arrest. Every step logged. Every click and keystroke preserved. Your emails, your searches, your printer's secret code. A trail you never see, but one that never stops watching you. Winner's attorney, Titus Nichols, arrives 2 hours later. He finds her calm, almost serene. "You know they're making an example of you," he says quietly. She nods, voice flat. "I figured." In the next room, prosecutors draft charges under the Espionage Act, the bluntest legal instrument in the government's arsenal. Maximum penalty, 10 years. The guard calls time. Nichols stands, gathering his notes. "We'll fight," he says. Winner just closes her eyes. She's already spent. By the time the sun sets, the Intercept story is ready to run. Editors debate redactions, oblivious to the digital fingerprints already burning under fluorescent NSA lights. The file is live by morning. Reality Winner, 25 years old, has become the first leaker charged under the Trump administration. A name that will define the next decade of whistleblowing, security, and paranoia. Reality Winner spends 1,181 days behind bars. Not a single day is easy. Her cell at Federal Medical Center Carswell is a world away from the humming data centers of NSA Georgia. The air is stale. The lights never really turn off. On August 23, 2018, Judge R. Stan Baker delivers the sentence: 63 months in federal prison and 3 years supervised release, the longest sentence ever handed down for leaking classified information to the media. Her top secret clearance has gone forever. So is any hope of returning to intelligence work. She cycles through jobs, interviews, and advocacy, haunted by the echo of printers and the clank of cell doors. Her social media, once filled with yoga poses and CrossFit jokes, now becomes a battleground of strangers calling her either a patriot or a traitor. "I knew it was secret," she tells CBS in 2021, eyes steady. "But I also knew that I had pledged service to the American people, and at that point in time, it felt like they were being led astray." She holds her ground, but the cost is a permanent scar. The irony? The prison that claims to keep information tightly held is the same place where she learns the true meaning of isolation. For nearly 4 years, she is cut off from news, from friends, from the world she risked everything to inform. Her mother drives hours just for a few monitored minutes. Her advocates rally online, but inside, it's just Winner, a bunk, and the knowledge that the leak she thought would clarify everything instead became a political Rorschach test. Contractors across the intelligence world take notice. Pluribus International, her employer, faces scrutiny, but no charges. The Intercept, the publication that received her leak, is roasted for journalistic malpractice. Their unredacted scans, complete with yellow printer dots and physical creases, make tracing Winner a matter of hours, not months. Glenn Greenwald admits years later she sent it unsolicited to a generic newsroom address, no journalist assigned. Future whistleblowers get the message. Leaking is a one-way trip, and the exit door is guarded by printer dots, audit trails, and a Justice Department eager to make an example. Meanwhile, the Espionage Act is no longer just a Cold War relic. Prosecutors wield it like a club. 5 years, 3 months. No one in history has ever gotten more for a leak to the media. U.S. Attorney Bobby Christine says her betrayal put at risk sources and methods of intelligence gathering, thereby offering advantage to our adversaries. Winner disagrees. I meant no harm. It only filled in a question mark that was tearing our country in half. The debate rages on. By June 2, 2021, Winner is released early for good behavior. She steps into sunlight, blinking, free, but not truly free. Her name now shorthand for the cost of transparency in a system designed for secrecy. Journalists, activists, and security consultants still argue. Did she help democracy or just hand adversaries a blueprint? Here's what nobody in Washington will admit. The same security protocols that caught Winner printer dots, user logs, digital footprints, are the ones that failed to stop the next breach. Because just 2 years later, another contractor slips through the cracks. His name is Edward Snowden, and his leak won't fit in a single envelope. It will force the U.S. government to admit it lied to 300 million Americans. If you want to see what happens when a lone insider brings the world's most powerful spy agency to its knees, check out our video on the Snowden NSA files. Sometimes the truth isn't just inconvenient, it's unstoppable.